Welcome CSULB students, parents, and supporters, and thank you for participating in our annual family welcome event, Bienvenida. My name is Lark Crumpler, and I am the HSI STEM Student Programs Coordinator here at the beach. This portion of the event showcases how student involvement and connections to their campus community, even virtually, are critical factors for student learning and success. First-year students who connect to the campus and its resources, to professors, advisors, other student leaders, to their parents and their peers have a greater likelihood to persist and graduate from college. Today, I'm proud to feature 4 students who began their CSULB academic career as either a freshman or a transfer student and have connected to the campus, its resources, and with other programs. Each will share their experiences and suggestions for you, our viewers. But first, let's get to know the students. Nicole?
Hi, everyone. My name is Nicole. I am a senior. I am majoring in biochemistry, and I'm a transfer student from El Camino Community College.
And what program did you participate in, Nicole?
I participated in the Summer Bridge to the Beach program.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jasan Bulgarian. I'm a senior aerospace engineering major, and I am also a transfer student. I transferred from San Bernardino Valley College, and I was a participant in the Summer to the Bridge research program, and I'm also an Excel peer mentor.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jose, and I am a senior at the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics, and I am a general biology major. I am also a Excel peer mentor, and I came to CSULB as a freshman.
Hi, guys. My name's Sam. I study civil engineering at the College of Engineering. I was a part of the Summer Bridge to the Beach research program about a year or two ago, 1.5 years ago. And I came from Santiago Canyon College. It's in Orange.
All right, thank you, students. Now, for reference for our viewers, the Summer Bridge to the Beach program is a 9-week long research program for incoming Latino and Pell Grant eligible STEM transfer students. Unfortunately, this program was canceled in summer 2020 due to the pandemic. And the Excel peer mentor position offers STEM upper division students a paid opportunity to serve as ambassadors of their college, whether in the College of Engineering or the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics, by mentoring and tutoring STEM freshmen and transfer students during the academic year. So let's get started with some questions. Can each of you talk about how the expectations changed both at school and at home during your first year at CSULB?
I can start with this one. I don't have too much to say about it, but what resonates with me and how it relates to me personally, when I came to CSULB, the expectation changed for myself. I expected myself to take my career more seriously and to take my education more seriously. Especially, I also expected myself to take my classes more seriously. I guess all of my decisions as it related to school became a lot more serious. And that meant I had to study harder and maybe pursue career opportunities while in school. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I would like to add on that. The same was for me. I faced a lot of academic challenges at community college, and I really came to CSULB to change that. I knew that I didn't want to do bad and kind of like do better academically, to just kind of prove myself that I can, and I did. And that's something that, like, I just remember really clearly that that was my goal going into Long Beach, was to do that. So.
Arriving at college, you have a kind of an idea of how it's going to be. So you know that it's going to be harder than high school. You're still going to have tests. You're still going to have assignments. However, the thing that also comes along with it is that you gain a lot more independence and a lot more freedom to figure out how you're going to study. And that's something that I kind of had to learn when I first came to college, to CSULB. And I thought everything was going to be a lot more rigid, but in fact, it turned out to be that you have a lot more decision, a lot more say in how you want to study and what you want to get done. Um,
Yeah, I definitely agree with what everyone said. For me, since I lived with my boyfriend at the time and I was constantly visiting family, I definitely had to have some conversations about, like, hey, this is my priority. I still love you guys, but I need to put school first, and I might try to get involved to enrich my resume and my career. So I might not be as available. And just like everyone said, it's a lot of decision making, and you really make your experience worthwhile, or you spend your time, just working in class and that's about it. So it's really about what you decide to do to either move further in your career, make connections, and get to know the right people.
Thank you, everyone. Next question. How different were your classes, the instructors, and the exams from those you had at your community college?
So for me, I really kind of lucked out with my instructors. My first semester, or just my whole 1.5 years, has been like really great. I've noticed that I've had my first female STEM professor at Long Beach, which was awesome. And on top of that, she was Latina. So that just, I felt like a connection with her, and I built like a really good relationship with her. So she was my physics professor. But overall, in terms of exams, I did have to study a lot more than before. I would spend hours at the library, still spend hours studying, because yeah, it's just, I I could tell like I needed to study much more than before, and to get the grades that I wanted. So that's what I would say. And also going to office hours more helped me a lot as well.
I'd also like to add on to that. Coming from a community college, I found that my instructors there were generally pretty good. Like there was a pretty small range. Like they were either a little bad or pretty good, or like a little hard or very hard or not that hard. But at Cal State Long Beach, at least in the College of Engineering, that range was just a little bit bigger, actually. I mean, I found that I had professors who were really, really hard and who wanted me to have an education on par with someone who goes to MIT. And I had professors who didn't really care that much. They didn't, I mean, they cared, but it was not that hard of a course, in my opinion. So that's the main difference that I noticed, is that the range is much bigger in terms of like difficulty.
Yeah, I could second that as well. For my classes, at first, it was really hard to kind of figure out what the instructor wanted in terms of, like, okay, this is the material I'm going to deliver, but the test might have not been like matching to what they talked about, or they might have instructed like an easy example, but then the test really wanted you to master it. So for me, it was a lot of kind of trial and error in terms of making sure I knew how like my professor was going to test, which meant I just had to study as much as I could. Whereas in community college, I felt like the professors were very thorough with what they wanted. We didn't have to guess how the tests were going to be like. And I felt like, I guess they did a lot of hand holding, like they were very thorough, but here they kind of expect you to know, just to know what you need to study. And if you really need to know like what's going to be on the exam, if you need thorough examples, like you need to go to office hours or you need to start a conversation, because if no one asks questions, they're just going to assume that you're good and that you know what you need to study for.
Okay,
Sorry, could I add one more thing?
absolutely.
For anyone that's taking any biology or biochemistry courses, something that helped me was doing a lot of Zoom studying with someone in my class. That helped me during this whole transition to online. And I saw a drastic increase in my grades and the scores I'd get on quizzes and exams. So if you can start, like, I know it said a lot to form study groups or find someone to study with, but if you know that that helps you, I would do it 100% starting the first day. Like, it will really help you a lot. So that's something I would also like to add.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. All right. So for our Summer Bridge to the Beach scholars, here are some questions for you. Why did you apply for Summer Bridge to the Beach in 2019?
I can start that one. So in 2019, I applied to the Summer Bridge program because I had a friend who was a year ahead of me, and he goes to UCI. They have a similar program there, actually. And the whole time, he kept pushing me. If you see an email that comes up about one of these programs, you better apply for it. And I really respected him and I trusted him. And so I took his advice. And when I saw that email come up from HSI STEM through my community college, I signed up. And this was all, I also did this because I was panicking towards the end of my career at community college, because if you looked at my resume at the time, there really wasn't anything there. I didn't feel like I had any professional experience. So, combined with this advice from my friend and realizing that this program was a good opportunity for me to gain some professional experience, I signed up.
So I had a little bit of research experience in community college, but nothing to what a university four-year research setting was like. I was in a like 2-day program at UC Riverside where we did some sequencing, and then I was able to uh, go to conferences with that research with a group. And then when I saw the email about Summer Bridge to the Beach, I was really interested. And that was the reason I applied, because I really liked the program that I did with research. And I really wanted to get my foot in the door, or whatever the saying is, into like a research program. So that was the main reason I applied.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Sam and Nicole. I just really wanted some professional experience, and I felt like as a transfer student, there's not a lot that's offered right when you're about to transfer. And so I thought for me, like, this would be a great way to get to know the college, get to know the school, and to see what research programs are out there for engineering. For me, I've only heard of research through like bio and chem majors, but for engineering, I didn't really know what was out there. So it was just really good exposure and to kind of see already like what I liked and what I didn't like.
Okay, thank you. Next question. What was your experience with Summer Bridge to the Beach that summer? And what did you gain from this research program?
I could start. So for me, I was actually paired with a professor in the Department of Chemical Engineering. And so it was really cool just because I was able to see how like different fields of engineering can relate to each other, even though it wasn't like my subject matter that I was super interested in. I still was able to learn more about how this application can be applied to aerospace. And it just gave me another option that I could go into if for any reason I wanted to continue research with her. But I think what was also really valuable was the opportunity we got to make our own research poster and present to our peers. Again, even though it wasn't the subject matter I am passionate about, it was still a way for me to gain some presentation experience, gain feedback with a professor, and just work with her and talk to her. It can be intimidating talking to like most professors at CSULB since they're all doctors, and I just feel like just having that experience kind of gave me a little more confidence in my other classes that I could just talk to these professors since they're all just normal people and they just want to help students.
I had a really similar experience to Jasan's in that I got paired with a professor in a field that was kind of similar to mine, but not the same field. The funny thing is, I actually ended up going into that field that the professor was in, and I even accepted a job in that field upon my graduation. So that's a funny thing. The other part of the Summer Bridge to the Beach program, which at the time I think was very underrated, was the professional development side of it. This was a game changer for me. I think once I got out of the Summer Bridge to the Beach program, I realized that I was a baby, just a baby in the professional development world, and I had so much work to do. But with all the information and skills I got from the program, that was basically everything I needed to get started and to go on my way.
Yeah, so it was a game changer for me, and I'm not even trying to say that lightly at all. I not only was placed into a lab, Dr. Jason Schwanz's lab, who I respect a lot, and he has taught me a lot, as well as being someone I can talk to in terms of classes and whatnot, but I learned a lot of techniques in his lab as well. And then not only that, but the orientation week that we got at the start of the program and all the different people that came and talked to us about Cal State Long Beach and the different programs offered there and everything that's offered, it just made me feel much more prepared starting my education at Long Beach. And I felt like I had an idea of like who to go to if I needed something, and that helped a lot, and to the point where like I had other transfer friends that would ask me for help, and I knew that because I was given that opportunity during the orientation week. And then lastly, the experience of presenting a PowerPoint of all the research that I did. So my focus was on Alzheimer's disease, so I was able to learn a lot about it and then present that to a lot of people. And that made me really excited to present at other conferences as well. So that gave me the confidence as well to feel like, okay, if I could do this in front of other people like professors and faculty, I can do this at a conference level. So yeah.
Excellent. I'm going to ask each of you very quickly to add to that is how did your participation in Summer Bridge to the Beach prepare you to continue research at the beach? Because the Summer Bridge program is only offered to first year incoming transfer students. So how did that help you to extend and continue your research experience here at the beach?
I could start. So for me, I didn't necessarily continue in my professor's lab just because there were some logistics stuff that if I continued, it wouldn't count towards my graduation or my major. But when I did start to take classes that interested me, like fluid dynamics, I kind of gained the confidence to ask the professor in charge if I could join her lab. And she said she would definitely be interested in me as long as I take this other class. And I'm not really sure where she is right now just because she might have gone through some personal things, but it just kind of gave me the knowledge of, okay, like whatever I end up liking, there's a path for research in that. So even if it wasn't something that I liked, I could see research as an option in the future and maybe towards grad school.
For me, it the summer bridge to the beach program was actually a gateway into my professor's lab. I think my professor mainly participated in this program to find eligible candidates to be in his lab, and he used the program as a way to train me. We did not do we didn't solve cancer or do any big research like that, but I learned the necessary skills to join his lab. So following the program, I was able to work on a real project with him, and we even got like published in a small little journal too, which was fun. And I got to go to a conference online and present my research to a panel of judges, and that was a really cool experience.
Yeah, so yeah, it gave me the kind of entrance into a lab, which was I was really grateful for, and I really enjoyed my research. I was able to stay in my lab, and I'm still in that same lab with Dr. Schwan's, and yeah, I've been able to continue with my project, and since then, I've actually presented at multiple conferences, and it's just built my confidence as well to talk about what I'm working on in front of people that may know more than me in terms of have studied a lot longer and have their PhDs and whatnot. But I've built a lot of confidence to go to conferences or talk to other people and that are also in my major, like in my studying the same as me. So yeah, and as well as meeting new people in my lab. So
I was muted. Thank you, Summer Bridge to the Beach Scholars. Now I'm going to shift over to our Excel peer mentors. I have a couple of questions for you. Why did you decide to become an Excel peer mentor?
I could start. I decided to become an Excel peer mentor because I wanted to get involved in something on the campus in order to give back and benefit and guide others. I was actually a freshman who actually participated in having a peer mentor when I was back in my first year, and I benefited really greatly from that. And I felt like I had some level of responsibility to share my own insight that I learned over my time as a college student. And overall, I saw it as a way to participate more in the campus community. And so far, I've found it to be very rewarding.
Yeah, I could second that. Similar to Jose, I had a peer mentor during my first year at Cal State Long Beach, and she and I really built a good connection. Even though she wasn't in the College of Engineering, she helped me a lot with reaching out to professors and other resources that would help me be successful. And I just felt like I wanted to give back to that same community, especially since I'm a transfer, and I feel like my experiences and my successes could help someone else who might have been going through something similar than me. And I also find it really rewarding. It was my first semester as a peer mentor, and I just felt like it helped me gain also like social experience, especially with this pandemic. And I don't know, it just kind of was really, really rewarding just to see these freshmen who are confident and ready to kind of start their careers. And I also learned a lot from them.
Okay, and how have your roles as a mentor and a tutor changed you?
Being a mentor and tutor have given me more insight in terms of like how people learn, how you can teach people, and really how you can communicate more effectively. I've enjoyed interacting with like students and just seeing how like, oh, they bring you a problem and then you go through it with them. And really it's giving me a surprising level of satisfaction when you finally go through that with them, especially when at the end of the day, they can actually understand everything. And so I found that even some of the techniques and ways of speaking to students have kind of like gone into my own like day-to-day conversations. And I think I've become a more effective and clearer speaker in terms of that. And really, I just appreciate like the level of like, I guess, listening that you kind of like go through when you take up this job. And it's like listening is a skill that isn't too practiced, I would say, in other places. And so that's something that has kind of changed in me.
Yeah, I agree 100% with what Jose said. And I also want to add that being a tutor has definitely kind of opened my uh, or better my skills and empathy, just because you hear what these students go through, and you might be having a bad day or whatever, but just sometimes being there for a student kind of helps you, knowing that you did something for someone else, and even though you were having a bad day or they might have been having a bad day, just that interaction definitely makes your day a little bit better.
Thank you both. Okay, now to all of you. What motivates you to be a successful college student, regardless of remote or in-person learning?
I can start that one. I love the material that makes up my degree. I I mean, we have to take this course called soil mechanics. It's dirt physics, and to me, it's so interesting, and I find the graphs in these books so beautiful, and and the teaching so like interesting and applicable to other courses. So that motivates me, to do well, I guess. Yeah. Besides that, I I don't know, I want a good life after college. I want to set myself up for success. So, you know, even if it means working a little harder right now, I'm okay with that because in the long run, that really helps me, and it did. Invested a ton of time into professional development and getting good grades and pursuing extracurricular activities, and that helped me get a job. And I feel really great right now. Sorry.
So for me, I've always enjoyed the sciences since I was young, and also like Sam said, I really enjoy what I'm studying, and I've really grown a love for biochemistry and enzymes, and yeah, I just really enjoy it. So that's like a plus. But on top of that, you know, being a woman of color and like Latina is really challenging in STEM. And I just feel really proud of where I am, and to see that, I'm going to be added to the next like generation of women that are in STEM, that are Latina, that can do it and that did do it. And I think that's important. And that's something that I'm really proud of and excited to just get my degree. And yeah, so that motivates me.
Yeah, I definitely resonate with what Sam and Nicole said. Just when you know you love what you study, it just kind of gives you that extra incentive to dive deeper into what you want to do, and especially when you know what options there are for you, you want to like make sure you hone in and kind of keep that passion and that drive. And similar to Nicole, I am about to be the first engineer in my family, and I'm a first generation daughter of Filipino immigrants that came to the US. So it's just one of those things where I want to kind of pave the way for other women, especially who grow up in areas where they don't think that getting a career in engineering is possible. And I just want to like make sure that I do my best so that I could bring others along with me. And yeah, that definitely keeps me going, especially right now during the pandemic.
What sometimes motivates me is kind of questioning my why, and that usually has to do with like, well, why am I in college in the first place? And so far, like being in the biology major, the one thing that I've kind of like looked at in terms of like where I want to go is conservation biology, and that's one field where I felt that some people weren't paying enough attention to, and overall, I just feel privileged to, live where I am, living the life that I am, and having the privilege to study what I'm studying, and also being able to later contribute to that in life.
Jose, as a peer mentor, what are your suggestions for first year students who are finding that they really aren't motivated by their major, and they might be thinking there's something else, another major, another field of study that would be better for them?
I can answer. I think it's really important to like be honest with yourself first. And once you know that, you could have a conversation with someone you trust, whether it be a professor you gain a relationship with, or a parent, or a sibling, or an aunt and uncle, and just kind of talk it out and say, like, hey, I don't think this is the right path for me. I think I want to do this. And then maybe they could kind of either encourage you to go see what's out there, like what resources that they have at Cal State Long Beach. Because I'm sure there's, with whatever like path you want to take, there's someone at the college who could help you get on the right path. So my advice would just to be follow your gut too, and don't let any more like time pass by, because you want to just kind of make sure you're on the right track, even if it's not 100% like what you want to do, as long as it's going towards that. um I think it's definitely important to explore that.
In terms of addressing self-doubt, in terms like, oh, is this path the correct path? Sometimes we like to think of progress and our everything to be like just super smooth, super like linear, when in reality it has a bunch of twists and turns, and that's actually normal. If you have doubts about a major, if you have like, oh, what if I could do this? What if I can do that? Just remember that CSULB has plenty of resources. They have advisors. You have friends. You can have friends to talk that over with. And really, I'm a firm believer in that there's plenty of opportunity out there. And sometimes it's like maybe you want to go this direction, but then if something's calling you somewhere else, go ahead, take that leap.
I'd also like to add on to this a couple points. One, some majors, they don't really lock you into a job. Some majors, if you study that major, you actually have options to pursue like 100 different jobs, across maybe several fields. The other thing that helped me is to pursue resources outside of school, like professional societies or just regional organizations. If you want to be an engineer or like a civil engineer, you should try to get involved with those organizations and get a first-hand experience, or get some questions answered about what it's actually like to be a civil engineer. And I'm sure there's similar organizations out there for the other colleges as well.
Thank you. So, reflecting on the virtual learning format during the fall semester, how did you manage your synchronous or asynchronous classes? What did you learn about yourself in the process? And what suggestions could you offer other students that would help them become more successful with remote learning?
I can start this one. Definitely the number one suggestion for me is to take notes and to pretend like you are just sitting in class at a regular school. You try to forget that you're at home. Try to make it as real as possible, because if you get comfy and if you start looking at your phone or going on the internet, you are throwing away your education and you're going to make it so much harder. I found this semester that just because it was online, professors didn't make the material easier. They didn't make their exams easier. They expected just as much out of us. And so that's why I'm saying, don't take it lightly. This is your education we're talking about. Study hard, and don't think it's easier. It's not. I also witnessed a lot of my peers thinking that they could, just Google exam questions online, or, they could just have a Zoom call during exams. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. The only way you're going to get through this semester is by hard work and like real studying.
Yeah, it is very challenging going from in person to online, but it isn't impossible. And I think it's important to just always allow yourself to have breaks. And if that means going for a walk, I mean, walks for me throughout the semester have really lowered my stress levels multiple times because it isn't easy. You're stuck at home. You know, for me, I share a room with my sister, so it's challenging. But I was able to get through it. And going to office hours, sometimes I'd show up and there was no one else there, and it was me and my professor. And that was really nice because I could ask as many questions as I needed. But also, you know, forming study groups on Zoom, I mean, that helped me and my friend a lot. And growing. We also, multiple classes, people started kind of forming group chats, and that helped a lot. And so just kind of starting that, because everyone's in it together. Everyone in that class will be struggling. One of my classes, we were all struggling and we were all there for each other. So yeah, that helped a lot. But again, forming study groups, going on a 15-minute walk if you can, going outside for a little bit with your mask, of course, that definitely helped me. So
Yeah, adding on to that, I definitely recommend staying organized and just doing what you need to do to be healthy. Honestly, like this mindset thing, I think was my biggest obstacle because there were some days that were hard for me that I just, everything in the world was kind of getting to me. I had a few scares with my family, and just so making sure that you take care of your emotions and your mental health, I think is super important. And I also feel like for me, being organized allows me to see my day and my week kind of, since I'm a visual person, I need to see like how I'm going to spend my week. And so if you see that you overscheduled yourself, like with classes, like there's nothing wrong with, again, scheduling breaks. Like if you need to schedule the break to take it, take it. And if you need to say no to certain obligations, like take that time for yourself, because I feel like this is the only time where you get to schedule your time to study, your time to work. I mean, once you work out there, you're stuck to their schedule and their time, but right now, like you can decide what organizations you want to be involved in and everything. So just definitely, I know it's also tempting to be super involved right now since you're at home and you don't need to commute, but just make sure that you're not overloading yourself, even if it's a bunch of Zoom meetings in a row, because those can get pretty strenuous. So, yeah, self care. That's like my biggest advice, I think.
Being mindful of my own personal schedule is one thing that really helped me during this past semester, because transitioning online, the division between work and personal life kind of gets blurred. You're sitting home at your computer, but like before then, you used to come home and then you would go on YouTube on your own computer, but now it's like a work machine for you. And so identifying like what times I'm most likely to get work done. I work better during the morning, or I work better at night during this time. Those are things that you kind of have to identify for yourself. And also, you don't be afraid of breaks, because those will be very beneficial to you in terms of like being able to stay consistent with your work. I would recommend strategies such as, maybe you don't like to focus for multiple hours at a time. That's perfectly fine. One strategy that I used personally was setting a timer for, let's say, 30 minutes, and then afterward you get like a 10-minute break. You can get a coffee or something. And so being mindful of like, oh, I have this work to do, but also not being afraid of breaks. Those are things that can help you keep you going.
Can I add just one thing? Online, it is hard on both sides of the coin. It is hard for students, and it is pretty hard for professors too. I really encourage you at the end of your first class to turn on your camera and introduce yourself to your professor, because it'll make you feel really good and it's going to make them feel really good as well. It is really hard for them to just talk to black screens day after day after day. and this is a good thing also because you want to develop a relationship with your professor. This is yeah, that's kind of one of the best things about going to school on campus. It's that you get to make friends with your professor. So don't let that opportunity slide by. Introduce yourself, and trust me, it'll be good for both of you guys.
Excellent segue into the next question, Sam. Thank you. So how important is connecting to your professors, advisors, campus resources, and peers on campus? Our Bienvenida theme this year is connecting to STEM at the beach. So talk about how you became involved in campus orgs and other programs, how important it is to make those connections, and then also, if you wish, talk about which campus resources you found to be the most helpful.
Yeah, so for me, it's very scary at first, like the second week or whatever week it is, seeing all the clubs show up and all the different clubs you can join and do. And I think it's important to kind of look through them and see if there's a club that catches your attention. But if not, it's okay. It's okay. You don't need to be in a club if none of them suit you. If one does, great. But that's kind of something I would say about that. In terms of resources that helped me, I mean, HSI STEM, of course, like Lark was a big factor in helping me transition into Long Beach, as well as my PI, Dr. Schwanz. I would constantly be asking him questions, and then I would ask other students that weren't transfer students that were in my lab that had been at Long Beach already about, have you taken this class? What was this class like? And they were very helpful as well. And then talking to my professors during office hours, building connections with them, that helped me as well. And then learning about other research programs that are out there at Long Beach that are offered. So yeah, just talking to my professors, keeping in contact with people at HSI STEM, and yeah, building that relationship with my PI definitely helped me a lot.
For me, the biggest game changer was being friends with a mentor, or just having a mentor. I mean, specifically someone who is in your major and is a year ahead of you. If you have someone like that in your life, they can encourage you to go to job fairs. They can encourage you to take specific classes or specific professors. For me, this was the sort of person who kept me in check and who kept encouraging me to pursue other opportunities and whatnot. His name was Brian, and he was in the HSI STEM program as well. And I have so much to thank him for. And he's inspired me to do the same for people who are younger than me as well. I'm a mentor to several people, and it brings me so much happiness just to spread the knowledge that I've gained through going here and whatnot. What else? Let's see. Yeah, I guess that's all I have for now. Thank you.
I feel like getting involved has definitely given me the opportunity to network in ways that I wouldn't be able to do just in the classroom with this virtual environment. This past semester, I was also involved in the Associated Engineering Student Body as the fundraising chair, and you just get empowered by these people who just want to make it better or make the campus better for engineering students. I learned about resources that I wasn't aware of in depth. For me, we were really in conversation with the dean, and we were able to bring up some issues about virtual learning, and that I felt like as a student, you feel like you can't bring these issues to light and have like change done by it. But I feel like with this council, I found out that we're able to do a lot more for students. I would just say get involved in ways that you feel like you can cater your strengths to or even improve some of your skills. I know for me, being involved with HSI STEM has definitely helped me be more confident in speaking and by doing so, I was able to be more involved during a professional panel. And I feel like that might have been a reason why the recruiter remembered me, and she forwarded my resume to some hiring managers. And I just felt really good about that, just because I know a year and a half ago, I definitely wasn't as confident as I am now. So yeah, I highly encourage you, even if you're a freshman and you feel like, oh, clubs on campus are not doing anything, just attend a meeting or listen to a technical presentation. Like, you never know who you're gonna meet and who you're gonna talk to. It might get you that connection that will get you your job someday. So I highly encourage it.
The vast majority of people that you're going to meet at college are going to be related in this one way. And that way is that they are either currently or they were in your shoes. And so this includes other students, this includes your advisors, your professors, and really you can benefit from interacting with everybody. With your peers, you have people that you can help, and you can help them, they can help you, and you're gonna meet people who are very like-minded as you, and overall, you're just gonna create really wonderful friendships with them, both in terms like a personal sense and also as in a professional sense. Your professors, they're there for you in terms of like um, being available to help you. I've never really felt that a certain professor was like unapproachable, because at the end of the day, they're there to teach you, and also if you ask for it, they can also be kind of like a mini mentor to you as well. Participating in clubs and everything, those will help develop your personal and academic traits. In fact, my first research opportunity actually came about from interacting inside a an academic club, and so just interacting with different people and everything, seeking out new experiences, that's going to open up a ton of doors for you in terms of your professional career and as well as your academic career.
Excellent, thank you. And our final question: what do you hope students and parents gain from this interview today?
That it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be very different to community college if you're a transfer student. Now with online, especially, just understanding that even though we're studying at home, it's just a level of understanding, I think, from both parties, that even though we're all at home, we are still in school and we still have a lot of responsibilities. So just to be understanding at that level, and also just kind of like managing your stress levels and not letting that overpower you, because with online, I feel like it has become, well, for myself, a lot more stressful. And like it's important, if you enjoy any sort of activity that will help you de-stress, make sure you're including that in your daily routine, or at least once or twice a week. Don't just only focus on school. You also need to focus on yourself. And that is like the biggest thing I think that we need to remember, is that, not everything is only school. There, you can have time for pleasure and for play, and you also need to incorporate that. So yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to add on to that. I definitely agree that there needs to be a mutual understanding between students and parents. It's a lot of work to be in the STEM field, and I just feel like as a student, it's kind of your responsibility to know what you need, to make sure that you like just fulfill whatever needs that you like need to be successful. And I also feel like it's important to talk to whoever's in your life, whoever you live with, like your parents, your friends, your roommates, and just like lay it out there and support each other. And I feel like, I hope as a parent, like these interviews kind of give you an insight on what it's like to be a student right now. I know a lot of things have changed, but as parents, I feel like you play such an important role in your students' success, and you're like their at-home cheerleaders. And like I just feel like working together will like not only benefit your family, but it's just your community in general, since I feel like we're all connected in more ways than we are aware of. So yeah, I just hope that this helps you know that there's so much support as well from the school, and that all in all, like we're all just hoping to make sure we're all successful and doing well, even though there's this pandemic that we're dealing with.
My hope for students, after seeing these interviews, I hope they walk away from these interviews knowing that their hard work will pay off in the end. There's a lot of hard work to be done, but if you do it, it will pay off. The other thing is your education might be like one of the best times of your life, so you should really enjoy it. You should enjoy the material, you should enjoy the friends, and make the very most of it, because it's a great time in your life, and there's probably not another time where you're going to pursue a undergraduate degree. And for parents, yeah, I think encouragement is fantastic. Personally, my parents didn't really encourage me that much, but I wish they did. I wish they were more involved with, my courses. My parents never knew what courses I take. I don't think they really understand what I study, but at heart, I wish they did. I wish they had encouraged me more and maybe patted me on the back and say, hey, keep at it, something like that. That would have been nice.
I hope that students and parents watching these interviews gain relief and confidence in that CSULB, but also the college experience as a whole isn't actually that scary. And yeah, there's hard work, and there's also, one thing that I actually kind of find a lot more scarier than hard work is uncertainty. And so there is uncertainty in this situation going to college. However, there's plenty of support to make that whole experience a memorable one. And overall, you're not going to go at it alone. There's plenty of resources available, and there is work and tests to be done, but overall, it's going to be a very fulfilling time, and it'll build you up in a better way and make you stronger.
Excellent. Thank you so much, students. Jose, Nicole, Jasan, Sam. Whether you received a pat on the back while you were going through all of those trials and tribulations during your academic career, and as you continue, whether you got that pat on the back from your family members or not, I'm virtually patting your back right now. So thank you so much just for being so candid and for joining me today and for sharing your experiences and your suggestions. I also want to thank those who are listening to us today about this particular Bienvenida segment on our student leaders. And if you are interested in seeing more about Sam and Nicole's research, please listen to their poster presentations that you will find later on in this Bienvenida segment. So once again, thank you all so very much. Thank you, students. And I hope to see you again very soon. Bye-bye.